Hey guys, welcome back to another Flesh and Blood video. So today I'm playing Oldhim. Oldhim is not something I've really ever played. I think before I've played today, I've played like maybe 2 games on Oldhim, like lifetime ever, and it's never been during Uprising meta. So playing Oldhim was a lot of fun today. I really wanted to see how the other half lives, I guess. I just kind of wanted to see what it was like to play Oldhim. I've played against Oldhim a bunch of times, either with Fi or Dash, so I've played against it and I understand their game plan, but playing with it really helps you. And there's a couple of games here that I played. The games took a little bit longer, so there's only 2 of them. Like the deck was a little tiring mentally, honestly. There's a lot that goes into it, but I did enjoy it. And I think the games were pretty good. One of them was kind of a slaughterhouse, honestly. I got bullied a little bit. But I won the other game, so I don't know. It felt pretty good, and I liked it, and I'll probably go back to play it some more after Nationals and kind of get a feel for it. But thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys. To see more what he's about. Bravo is an interesting matchup. That is a Sledge matchup, I'm pretty sure. And let's see. And good luck, opponent. The Staunch Response is good. Do I want Oasis Respite? And do I want Command and Conquer? I think so. I probably don't want to mess with the blue count too much, but... All right, yeah, I'm just being honest with our opponent here. Like, all right, so the Staunch Response seems good. Command and Conquer seems decent. The Sink Below seem good. I honestly wonder if I want to cut the Pummels, or if Pummels are just a really good way to swing tempo. I don't really care about Pulverize. All competitive category might be a stretch for first time. Fair enough. I don't like cards that don't block. These cards don't block well, and I need to get rid of 3 other cards. We'll get rid of the Zealous Beltings too. I have no idea if that's correct or not, but I am here for it. Okay. We'll play Channel Lake Frigid, and then we'll come in for 6, and then we'll arsenal the Staunch Response. Staunch Response is really good here because it can either be played and or it can be served as Crown of Seats fodder, either way. And honestly, playing Channel Lake Frigid might not be the play in this matchup. Okay, so what are we doing here? Let's just say no blocks and we'll Crown of Seats here. Nothing to write home about. So we take 4, and then they Nothos us for 6. So I can actually just take 6 here, and then I can Oaken Old for 7, and then Heave Thunderquake. I guess I could play Winter's Bite. I could play Winter's Bite to get a card out of their hand. We're not going to be able to pitch 2 ice cards, so there's no point in really trying to make sure that we're going to be able to do this. We'll come in for 7. Our opponent's probably just going to take 7 because there's no on-hit effects here. Okay, they block and do that. And they have a sink below. Okay, and they have to pitch their Fate Foreseen. We'll put Winter's Bite on the bottom first. I was like, because if we find a blue, then we get to 11 Dominate. Dominate on hit. They discard 2 cards. So I mean, it's pretty solid because they have to have a defense reaction here to like really be able to keep up with this. Okay, they must have a sink below here because they never threw a card from hand. Yeah, Fate Foreseen. I was like, that makes sense. Okay. So we can play Winter's Bite, play Command and Conquer, and then Arsenal Glacial Footsteps. I like this because we're getting a card out of their hand. The interesting part about this too is that we are threatening Pummel here in some capacity to make them think about it. Interesting. Arsenal that. Okay. So alright, so this is just going to happen and we're just going to have to take it on the chin. We will, I mean, yeah, we could block 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then Earth React. Or, I mean, we can pitch Pulse to react. We pitch this and get both cards here. So we're forcing them to not have an arsenal here, and we're also like taking one here. We'll put Pulse on the bottom first. And then I'm just going to heave Thunderquake here. Feels pretty good to me. And then they're coming in for 4. Oh, they pitched the Pummel. Let's see here. So it's only going to cost 3. So we'll block 3, take 1 here, go to 28. Put this back into the deck and we'll come in for 10. Like, no on-hit effects here, but pretty decent shot. I mean, we are just pressuring our opponent's life total here quite a bit, so that does feel pretty good. Okay, Staunch Response. Ooh, and they paid into it to only take 2 here. Okay. And then we get to heave this and pitch stack. Well, I'm doing my attempt at pitch stacking here. I will not let me activate Crown here. I don't really understand. Let's see, Winner's Bite. So I come in for 10 Dominate here by pitching Disable. I don't really understand why I can't Crown right there. I've got to remember to do that when it's on the stack, because you technically can't do it during blocking step. Oh. So I just wasted Tunic there. Okay, that's that kind of sucks, but that's fine. Now that I understand that. Makes so much more sense why I couldn't activate Tunic now. So we'll pitch 6 to set up a pitch stack here, because this is actually going to be pretty solid, because we can put Autumn's Touch, Arsenal this, and then if we happen to draw it, then cool, but if not, then we're actually able to just put this on the bottom, put the Oaken Old on the bottom, and have a second cycle Oaken Old. Okay. So we can block 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this isn't great. We're forced to just take quite a bit here. Bravo into Spinal Crush is like a really good play. We get to keep our Spinal Crush. Or Crippling Crush is what they had. We have a Spinal Crush. Yeah, I'm just going to Arsenal here. Wow, this is not good. Three, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, this is a weird hand, but I think we gotta... Well, I guess it makes more sense to... And then we can Oldhim react here. And then we take 2 this way. And then our turn is again passing, but now we have Tunic Crown up. Maybe I get lucky and there'll be an Earth card on top. Put the Pummel on the bottom. My general internal screeching is slowly becoming external. Yeah, it's just a part of life. I mean, like, I hear you. Pitching Pulverize just makes me incredibly sad. Yeah, there's no point in reacting here. We'll just let them... Oh, they had another Zealous Belting. This is going to sound really weird, but I think I'm going to block with the Oaken Old. Or is it block with the Pummel, pitch those to do that? Yeah, I think it's block with the Pummel, take 3, and then we're going to hammer for 6 here. Like, I feel like giving our opponents bad draws here, we've actually been in a pretty decent spot to win this game. Like, I just feel like me playing poorly has probably not helped anything. Okay, our opponent has a sink below. A card was put on the bottom of the deck. They take 2. We're going to go here, then here, Arsenal this. No Earth cards. Enter testing. Okay. I mean, Imposing Visage isn't bad because then they just get like they get to get a power card here. Pulverize is revealed. I think I'm just going to come in with... Yeah, they're going to heave it, which is fine, which means we need to keep the Staunch Response. I mean, they have to block 4 here. which means they'd have to block 2 cards from hand. Is that worth blowing up Crater Fist? Come in for 9 with Crush. I mean, this feels okay to me, like, because we're going to get 2 cards out of their hand this way because a card and their 2 equipment pieces left won't do it. So, this feels pretty decent to me. Plus, our opponent's at 10. Like, the damage is not for nothing at this point. Let's go Macho channel like that. I was like, you can't make a seismic surge here. So I can block 13 here. That seems okay to me. Actually, I can just block it all by Earth reacting. No, I can't Earth react. That's right, because I got to pitch those to do that. So I ended up taking 1 here, and then I'm just going to Arsenal my Spinal Crush on my turn, and then I have Tunic Crown. Okay. Macho Grande, ew. Alright, we gotta do Tunic and Crown now. Drawing Hypothermia is not bad, honestly, because that allows us to... Well, we're blocking 1. I mean, I kind of wish this was a card to block with and not Staunch, honestly. I think I'm just going to throw the Staunch here and then just come in for 8. Or I guess it's better to come in with Hammer and then Arsenal one of these cards. Yeah, that seems good. So we'll block all 8 here. And then... come in for 6. They're going to take 3. We're going to Arsenal this. Another Staunch Response is pretty good. So are they going to play Asunder Hammer? I have to say, you know, I kind of thought everybody was a little ridiculous for taking so long with these games, but this has been, I mean, this has been a longer game. I've kind of enjoyed this whole, like, back and forth and knowing what they're doing. I feel like a lot of the intricacies of playing Oldhim come into play. Those 4 more damage. I mean, there is no guarantee I draw blue. Because Cranial Crush is for 8, which would be pretty good. I mean, they could put a -1 counter on target equipment we control, which just means we can't block with Tunic, which I don't see being a big deal. Or I guess the other line of play, well, yeah, let's do this. So I'm going to block with Cranial Crush and then just come in for 5 and Arsenal the Staunch Response. Yeah, that seems good. We're taking 2 and going to 8. We know that they couldn't pummel us there because they only had 1 card. I mean, I guess we could just hammer for 6. It's more damage output and it's better for pitch stacking. Yeah, I like that. We get the hammer for 6. I mean, they can take 3 and go to 1 if they want, but then we're just saying that Sledge of Anvil's 2 cards for the rest of the game. So they're going to go to 2. We'll go Earth and then Grande. So our opponent played Asunder and then Hammer, and Hammer is for 7 here. So the Staunch Response is a clean answer because we don't have an Earth React, which means we're just going to Hammer for 6 here. We're going to put this on the bottom, keeping these 2 cards, and then Arsenal to sink below. Yeah, it seems good. It is for 7, right? Yeah, we're just gonna pay 2, and we're gonna pitch that. All right, so game 1, I feel like my Bravo opponent drew very poorly. I felt like there wasn't really a lot of firepower from our opponent's deck. Red Staunch Response was insane. Was really good. I really enjoyed that card, and I feel like it put in a lot of work right there. I think I played all 3 of them that match. One of them was second cycle, but I did play all 3 of them. Yeah, it's kind of weird to say, but I feel like we had more dominate attacks than our Bravo opponent did. And I feel like that really kind of helped us win the damage race, because there at the end of the game, you know, it was like 8-2. And we were still going to get to come in and, like, you know, get a card out of their hand. So we were in a pretty decent position going into that, which is kind of funny to say because I have never felt I have never had such a clean answer to Asunder Hammer. I know Red Unmovable does it, but man, like the Red Staunch Response was just so good right there. And I feel like the Red Staunches is what put us in a winning position for game 1. I will go first. Are you going to stay opponent or what? So I definitely want Rampart here. Smashing Good Time, Command and Conquer are all good ones. This will be a very important pitch stacking game to make sure that I do things the correct way. Staunch Response does not seem very good. Yeah, let's try it like this. Wow, this is not great, but we'll try it here and see what happens. I guess we're going to heave Pulverize here. Well, I don't know. Heaving Pulverize is cool, but I also can't... I mean, it's early game. Now's the time to heave a Pulverize. I just wish there was something for me to do that involved getting rid of these Command and Conquers. Alright, so we'll need 2 blues here to make Pulverize work. Well, lucky you, you get to see my super janky dash deck. Alright, well, our hand was really bad, so we had to play Command and Conquer on turn 1. I was like, this card basically just says 6 damage. Like, they have no arsenal. Like, and if my opponent wants to keep their hand so much that they just want to take 3, then, like, that's fine. Ooh, Oasis Respite. I like it. I like it. Okay. I mean, they're not gaining any life, but they are just getting value out of Oasis Respite here. And they get to pitch and they get to pitch a defense reaction, which is actually really good. Then we'll arsenal this. If Smashing Good Time with cost 2 or less. So we have Command and Conquer and the Pummel here with Smashing Good Time. This seems like a good time to get rid of their chamber here. So they're going to Spark, get a Plasma Purifier. Well, preventing some of their go again here will be really solid. And then we can pitch the Oaken Old and pummel this. Like, if they want to guarantee they're playing around this, they have to block with all their cards. Because right now they're probably sitting there realizing that I might have a pummel, and that they have to block with all 4 of their cards would actually be a smart play. Because losing an Induction Chamber this early in the game basically just makes Pistol say 3. Like, which is better than 2, but it's not impressive. So, and they do. Good for my opponent. Like, that was a good play by my opponent to play that there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to play it. I'm going to keep it. Like, we got Crown of Providence out of their hands, so we'll arsenal this Oaken Old. I assume they're just going to 4 me here. So they're attacking. So we can play Zealous Belting. Pitch Thunderquake Autumn's Touch. And then if they block well here, we won't pummel, and then we can just throw the pummel in the choose a reaction. Yeah, I mean we'll pummel to get some damage in and get some cards out of their hand. Like, our opponent's probably pretty happy to eat a pummel right here because, I mean, they're pretty ahead in life. Like, they have 2 items on board, and it's 43 to 40. That's a really good start for Dash. They'd have to have like 2 defense reactions here to be able to stop this, so it's probably just better for them to take this on the chin and then just arsenal something. Now, it is worth noting we do not have a Crown of Seeds this turn. I mean, it is what it is. I wanted to try and get on the board and push through some damage here. Okay, so our opponent does play a Sink Below. Whoa, I just noticed they're playing Tunic. That is really interesting. A card was put on the bottom of the deck. You gonna like play an Unmovable here? Honestly, pitch blue Unmovable would be really good right here. No, they're gonna have to pitch. Okay, yep. And they play red. I mean, like, I'm pretty okay with that. They play Spark of Genius for 0. Get a Teklo Core here. Okay. Okay. They get a Teklo Core and pass. I was just confused there. No worries. So we can come in for 8 Dominate here and then put this in the arsenal. It doesn't really have any effects other than the fact that it's just 8 Dominate. Basically just a way to like guarantee I can get some damage through. We'll go Disable, then Thunderquake. I mean, okay, they activate Purifier. So here's where we have to decide what we're trying to do here. Put a card from their arsenal on the bottom of the deck. They're probably going to keep an arsenal here, so I mean, we could... We're just going to Tunic Crown here and just kind of see what happens. I mean, I kind of like fusing and just putting this on the bottom again. Because I get to pitch Autumn's Touch here, and then I get to take 1. Go to 39. And then I get to... Okay, so they're actually not going to attack here. So, I mean, I could play Asunder, Disable. Actually, we could play Asunder, Glacial Footsteps for 9. Would make it harder to block, technically. It is a Guardian, right? Yeah, so we'll pitch Disable. Wait. We can't do that. Yeah, no, hang on. I'm out of my mind here. This is why I wanted to do this, because I can fuse it and come in with a dominate. Yeah, I'm getting way ahead of myself here on what I'm able to do. Oh, man. See, this, like, these little misplays and these little things that I keep doing today, this is why it's good to play these decks that you're not familiar with, because you're making yourself more comfortable in situations that you're not comfortable in. And honestly, when it comes to, like, card games, that is, like, the one thing that I would say to almost anybody is that I spent so much time playing Magic and only playing red aggro or playing burn, and like it made me very uncomfortable with other things over time. And so I had to teach myself that a lot later into playing games than most people did. And so it's just something to watch out for. They're attacking me here, which means we're going to activate Crown, pitching Disable. Drawn to a Cranial Crush, so... Yeah, I mean, honestly, we don't need to block with anything else. Like, we're barely soaking any damage here, and we're continuing to put on pressure every turn, which is where Oldhim wants to be. Oldhim wants to be as disruptive as possible when playing into dash. At least that's my experience from the dash side. Zipper hit did grant go again. Yeah, I'll block 3 here and only take 1. Because if they decide that they actually want to use all these things and kind of like boost every now and again, like I'm okay to just try and fatigue them here, like straight up. I'll just throw 3 here and block. And they did not grant go again because they flipped over a sink below. That was, yeah, so I'm not going to lie. Like, I think that, like, I understand why my opponent wanted to attack here, but I don't think they understand, well, like, he said greedy, so he obviously understands what he's, like, that he shouldn't have done that, but, like, it kind of sucks when you don't have, like, when you have hands that don't really do anything as far as like, you know, like setting up your board state and getting more aggressive with like, and getting more items into play. But you kind of just have to take those turns on the chin in this matchup and just kind of sit through them, and you can't really boost, because I mean like look at this, like I'm 11 cards ahead of my opponent. They're attacking us. I just really don't want this card in my hand. Like, I hate to put 2 Rouses back to back, but I think that's the correct play here. So we're going to have Tunic up. Like, having back-to-back Rouse is not good pitch stacking at all, but I think having Command and Conquer Pummel here is just good enough. You know, honestly, I'm just going to take 3 here. I think this is one of those turns that, like, I get to have Command and Conquer Pummel, and I get to Arsenal a card here because of Tunic being available next turn. My opponent's boosting more than I thought they would, honestly. Like, even the 3 times they've done it is more than I generally am comfortable doing it. And they're playing Heart of Fandle. Interesting. Like, they don't have an arsenal here, and that's okay because we're still just putting on 10 points of pressure in a matchup that they're going to start to slowly eke ahead in because of them having double Plasma Purifier. That's the order that they want to see them in this matchup. It'd be nice if we got an Arsenal card here too, but they do have to discard a card, which can make their hand pretty awkward. And this also puts us ahead on the life total race, which is not for nothing. I'm going to activate Crown, pitching Hypothermia. Drawing Pulse is pretty good. So I'm actually just going to take a little bit of what they're doing here. Like, we have a couple of options. I could Pulse React here, or I could also come in with 10 Dominate and put Pulse in my arsenal and keep it in my deck, which is a very solid play. Because, I mean, we're still at 31. Like, we can take another hit or two here. Because as the Oldhim, well, they're playing 3 Plasma Purifiers. That's interesting. Yeah, so let's play this, pitch this, reveal this. Pulse of Isenloft is just so good. Like, and honestly, like, I really like the art on this card. Like, this is one of those cards that I'd buy as a foil just to keep somewhere, like, in a box, honestly. We are setting up a decent pitch stack here to be able to go... Just to keep Pulse in the deck is really good. Like, we are Ice and Earth, like, pitch stacking here. They have a defense reaction. It's a bit of a blowout, but... I mean, I guess I wouldn't really call it a blowout, but... It is good for them to be able to stay on pace. So I think we're going to pitch Blizzard. And honestly, I really like Channel Lake Frigid here because Channel Lake Frigid is basically just like shuts their turn off. I do want to pay into Rampart. They're going to give go again. I'm going to activate Crown. Blue Thunderquake is for 8. Means this puts me taking 1. We'll pitch Autumn's Touch here to prevent the 1 damage we would take, and then that way we'll still have 1 prevention floating, which is kind of nice because then we have Rampart to be able to block all 3 of the next pistol, if that's the route they decide to go. Or they just play the next chamber. Play Channel Lake Frigid with Winter's Grasp, and then we'll just Arsenal the Thunderquake here. They play Sigil of Solace, okay. So they're playing like what looks like to be a very hard control dash. They even believe so much in it that they're playing Tunic, which is interesting. I mean, I could come in for 4, but I think it's better to have Crown of Seeds here. So we have Glacial Footsteps with Fusion here. Hopefully. It is a Dominate. Are they starting with a 0 to 60? Did not. Oh, they did boost and hit Unmovable. Wow. Okay. We will pay 1, and then we get a chance to activate Crown here. They get to pick. Didn't mean to boost then. Maybe they clicked it on accident. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I'd never done that. Play Glacial Footsteps, pitch these, fuse with Channel Lake Frigid, so coming in for 8 Dominate here. I mean, they've played over a Sink Below and an Unmovable, and they have played an Oasis Respite, a Sink Below, and an Unmovable, and Fate Foreseen, and they pitched a Fate Foreseen earlier. And they do have to pitch a card because of Channel Lake Frigid, which is kind of nice. Now they get to go to 21 here and do that, but they're basically just going to load on their turn, I imagine. So whatever we do draw into, we are going to have the ability to do. We will put Cranial in that, Arsenal this. Wow, this is pretty bad. They load the pistol up. Load chamber. They're going to attack us. Well, we're going to try and find something because, like, I mean, we need something to be able to do on our turn. I mean, drawing Winter's Bite's not bad because I could pitch all 6 cards to come in for 10, or I could pitch these 2 cards. I could pitch Winter's Bite and this to come in with Cranial or Spinal Crush, but I'm basically just committing to taking it here. I mean, it seems fine. I'm only taking 3 total if they do pistol me a second time. So I could Ice React my opponent right here, just to try and get him. Is Ice React better than our turn? No, I think coming in for 9 here is pretty solid. And then we get to Arsenal this, which means we get to pitch stack it a little bit. We get to pitch stack a little bit. Coming in for 9. They are forced to, block at least with a couple of cards here. And we pitched the Pummel so they know that we're not going to like blow them out here. Also, we have none floating and 1 card in hand. So they must have like a blue unmovable or something. Fate Foreseen also makes sense. They take 2 and they get to keep their game plan intact. We're going to go Thunder, Quake, Winter's Bite, and then Pummel. We're going to Arsenal this. And I am going to... Oh, hit my mic there. I'm probably just going to end up pitching Asunder to activate Crown and stuff because that's what we're wanting to do. They're attacking me. Another Spinal Crush is not what we wanted to see. All right, so this is blocking turn, which is like fine. I'm completely okay with that. Like we have 17 more cards in our deck than our opponent does. Like now, I also understand that like when you get to the end of the game, like Dash just starts to cycle all of their cards and not really actually do anything. So actually, did they boost? They did boost. So I actually really like just blocking with both of our Spinal Crushes here. Taking nothing, and then we have, if they decide to pistol us again, we have Rampart. Our turn is just going to be pitch Channel Lake Frigid, and then Arsenal Oaken Old. Hopefully we hit an Earth card right here so that we can pretty much set up and guarantee a fused Oaken Old if the game comes that far back around. Oasis Respite. I mean, maybe this is why they're playing Tunic. Because now they still get to keep 3 cards. Like... no Earth card. In fact, we got 2 Ice cards. I'm going to pitch the Winter's Bite here to activate Crown. They are attacking me now. Pitch the Winter's Bite. The Winter's Bite to activate Crown here. Draw probably the Pulverize that we put back through earlier. I'm going to... I'm actually just going to block there, and I am going to pay into the Rampart here because we're just buffing it up for whenever they attack next, and we are saving our Crown damage prevention here. Now, the sad part about this is that we're not having much of a turn. Okay. I kind of want to Ice React here, but I don't really have anything to do on my turn if we do that, and I don't think that's a good play. Pay 1 so that we take 0. All right. We did not find an Earth card when we kind of wanted to set up for second cycle there. There's probably a way that I could do that better and like kind of guarantee it, but we do at least have Tunic Crown here, so that makes for a pretty decent turn. Man, they're just trying to go ham this turn. Crown of Seeds, and then we have Autumn's Touch here. So we'll pitch this. And then we will prevent it all. We will do this. I think doing this is fine. Because then we just get to block 3 here, take 2, and then we get to come in with the hammer here for 4. And then arsenal our Oaken Old here. Like, feels, I mean, like, it's not great, but we are into that defensive strategy of the game where, like, we need to find a decent hand here. Because if our opponent is blocking with 1 to 2 cards per turn, then we're in a pretty decent spot. Like, Hypothermia is a good one. We need to keep that one to be able to play it on our turn. Yeah, so our opponent is just trying to... They're trying to close the game out now with where they're at, and I can't blame them. And we still haven't used any of our equipment yet, so I mean, that is worth noting. Like, we still have all of our equipment blocks. Autumn's Touch here. Yeah, I mean, we can Earth React after this. Again, take nothing here, and, well, I think we take 1, actually. Yeah, we take 1 off the Earth React. And then we get to play Hypothermia and Arsenal to disable. Earth React, so we take 1. And then they get to keep a couple of things loaded and still pistol us here for 5. Okay. I'm okay just taking 3. I mean, I'm not going to pay into it. Like, I'll just go to 20 here. Go Autumn's Touch, Thunderquake. We'll play Hypothermia, which means they basically get to attack us once, and we get to have a pretty decent hand here. Yeah, we'll Arsenal that. Yeah, I mean, they do get to spend the turn loading everything. Man, that Heart of Fandle coming back around was pretty good. That'll be annoying to have to deal with. Yep. So let's see here. We're definitely going to block here, and then... Trying to think. Pay 1, so we take nothing. Second cycle's winner's bite is pretty good because they're forced to discard or pay 1, and they'll obviously pay to keep cards in their deck. But I'm going to be honest, considering where we're at in the game, it really feels like I'm losing. Like normally playing Dash, I would love to be in this spot against Oldhim with where the game state is at. Use our tunic counter to not have to pay 1. That seems pretty smart. We'll come in with an Icy Hammer here. Frostbite can go a long way. Now, not super far, but it can go a long way. I've played all 3 Oasis Respite, so we don't have to be worried about that. Our opponent must be like really in the tank here about what they're trying to do. So they do block with 2 cards. Okay. So let's start with Tunic Crown and see what we find. Because, I mean, if we have to take a little bit of damage here to have, like, a Asunder turn, then, like... So... I mean, we're basically just forced to take everything this turn if we're going to do that. But it does allow us to come in for 9, dominate, on hit, they discard 2 cards. And then I assume they're pitching another blue to load, and then come in for 5. Yeah, we have to have a turn to try and like get back into it. Hopefully they just don't have like an unmovable here. Like the odds of them having an unmovable at this point in the game are pretty high. I was like, we've seen 2, so but they've second cycled a bunch of times. let's see. We will block. Let's Pulse React here. Making them put a card back on top and prevent 2 damage, so we're ending their turn basically on the spot. And then I don't think Icy Hammer's worth it here. I think we just need to Arsenal and pass. We probably will have to... I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to use Crown here. And then Pistola. So let's see. We're going to activate Crown. I'm going to pitch Thunderquake. And then we'll pay 1 into Rampart. So we'll do this, and then we'll Earth React, pitching this. Yeah, I mean, we can't just keep doing this. Like, we're just going to lose the game over time. I think our opponent, like, I think I had too slow of a start, honestly. Like, I'm sure that there is times where I played very poorly and didn't have what I needed. Now... Yeah, I'm just going to pay with Autumn's Touch and Ironhide Legs. Take 2, and then I'm going to pay 3 into the pistol here. And we'll Arsenal here because we have Tunic Crown. Yeah, I'm honestly, like, I'm looking back at this game and I'm sure there were quite a few mistakes that I made. Maybe didn't play aggressively enough. I'm not sure. Or maybe I played too aggressive at times and took too much damage. But I mean, like this was bad. My opponent, like, took over the game very early and, like, just kind of kept up the pressure. Yep, and then they're going to come in for 5 here. We're going to activate Tunic. Then we're going to activate Crown. Like, if I was able to just take it here, this hand would be awesome because I could just Thunder Quake and then hold up Pummel. Like, and that sounds awesome. There is no Earth React here, which is pretty bad. So we're going to block here, here, and here. And then pitch this into this, take nothing. Wish there was a way to keep my cards here because being able to come in for 10 is, you know, nothing to shrug off at. We're going to block all 5 here and take nothing. And then we're going to be able to block with Tunic and Rampart here and then stay at 2. Take 1. So we're going to take none this attack, and then we're going to take 1 and go to 2 on the next attack. Yep, and then... Yep. And then we're going to be able to... We're going to be in a position where we can use the Winner's Bite to play Hammer and then Arsenal channeling Frigid. I'm still intrigued that they're playing Tunic. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong by any means because they're obviously winning the game, but it is very interesting to me. Yeah, we take 1, go to 2. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to have to go back and watch this game where I can start to see where it slipped away. Like, I have some idea in my head, but I feel like there was probably a real moment or two into the game where it just, like, completely slipped away. And everything just fell apart. Interesting. Yep. Yeah, I'm just going to concede. The game's over. Game did not go very well. Okay, so game 2 was against Dash, and it was not close at all. My Dash opponent finished the game at like 19 or 18 or 20 or something like that. Like, it was very high. I got... Like, there was a very slow start to the game where nobody was really doing much, and then I got a little bit ahead on life total with some dominate attacks, and I was really pushing through and kind of winning the race. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I need this life total lead so that when they start pistoling me every turn with, you know, multiple purifiers and multiple chambers, I'm in a position to where I can let a little bit eke through and then push back on the big turns. Our opponent did exactly what they're supposed to do. They took some damage, and then they just, like, they turtled up with purifiers and chambers and just bullied me. Kind of feels like a little bit of payback for all the times I've done it to Oldhim players playing Dash, but our opponent played very well. I'm sure I made several mistakes during both the Bravo game and during the Dash game, but I really enjoyed both games, and I felt like they were really fun. It was really nice to see how Oldhim players, like, what it's like to be on that side of the coin. Definitely something I'll come back to after Nationals and kind of, you know, like, reevaluate and play more Oldhim and see what it's like. Because at that point, we'll have a Nationals winner, and there might be, like, a new Oldhim deck list that has some interesting tech that I like to try and play then. But, guys, thanks for stopping by and watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. And if not, I'll see you next time. See ya.